Hey guys, I wanted to show you guys my first place profile with the Chaos Fairies. So I decided to take Chaos Fairies with Cat. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. So I decided to play this Cat deck because it's a really interesting take on the Chaos Fairy engine. Being able to use Arabellum to discard cards out of your opponent's hand is kind of the key aspect of this deck. But also being able to access Arcanite Magician with Summoner Monk is kind of the idea. But that's kind of the idea for the deck. This is my playmat that I won, so just to prove that I actually won the event. So to start us off, we're going to start with the Mystic Tomato. Tomato is a really good engine, but I decided to cut it down to two, only because it only has two main targets, and the two main targets are either going to be Sangan. The main target you're going to either get with this tomato is either get Sangan. The reason why you want to go into Sangan sometimes is so that you can tribute for Caius. That's kind of the idea, is to be able to play Caius for free. Yeah, basically play cards for free and search for a card. In other instances where you have a Sangan board, you can summon an Air Bellum and Synchro Summon with it. Another target you can go into, and it's often forgotten, is that you can go into the Summoner Monk line. Summoner Monk line allows you to go into the Rescue Cat line, so that's why I play it. It is Dark Monster with 15 or less attack. For those of you guys who don't know what it does, when you normal summon it or special summon it, or sorry, when you normal or flip summon this card, it goes to defense position, and then you ditch a spell card out of your hand. It could be any spell card you want, and then from there, you can play the Rescue Cat from the deck, and then tribute off the Rescue Cat, and then get your Arabellums, two Arabellums. From there, I'll like to Synchro Summon the Summoner Monk and the Arabellum into the Arcanite Magician. The Arcanite Magician is often a good card because when you're playing against decks that like to set cards, even Recruiter decks like to set, you can pop the set and then be able to attack directly with the Arabellum, the second Arabellum, nicking a card out of their hand. Sometimes I like to leave the Arcanite Magician in attack position because this deck does play the Fairy line, and so you guys know that. I love the fairy line, but sometimes I leave an attack position so that I can use honest in the damage step. So the honest is sounds random, but it's because I play the fairy line. For those of you guys know my previous deck profile, I just love the fairy line because you're able to use the Herald of Orange Light as a form of defense, being able to interact on your opponent's turn, but as well as your turn as a quick effect is really key in stopping a lot of cards from coming down like Gores. Gores will come down and you can just Herald of Orange Light it so that you can safely attack with Arabellums and discard cards out of their hand. Orange Light has a lot of other applications as well because it is also a fairy and a tuner, and being able to use that ability is nice, and so you can go into level 6 synchros very easily. So of course I'm going to play the Fairy Line, the 3 Shiny Angel, and the Nova Summoner. The Nova Summoner is only used so I can play the Honest off the deck in defense position. And against Hero Beat, that's kind of necessary because 1900 is really hard for them to run over. So they have to waste a Gemini Spark to clear or a Hero Blast, depending on the situation. And I took a page out of my friend Spencer's, who also got top 4 at a card addiction with PS5. He decided to play three DD Warrior Lady. So I took a page out of his book and decided to play this in threes. Whereas before I would only play one. Now I'm going to play three. I think it's a really good staple in the fairy, even in pure fairies, but also chaos fairies, because you want to get rid of problematic cards such as Dyna, Vanity's Fiend, and even Titanial sometimes. Being able to have a one card out to all the Synchros is also another reason why you want to play DD Warrior Lady. This In the tournament, I played against Chaos Fairies in the finals. I played against Pure Fairies, and I played against Hero Beat. And all of those matchups, DD Warrior Lady is getting into because if you swing into an Alias or an Alias attacks into this, you can banish the Alias so that you can make the Hero Blast not live. Against the Pure Fairy, you can banish the D-Alk, but also you can banish Shiny Angels and Nova Summoners in the mirror match. And also, if you play against the Chaos Fairy, they also rely on their recruiters as well. So yeah, I decided to play this as a good card in threes as well. And then, of course, I play the Christia because Christia is really good. Not much to say about Christia. There are lines where Christia is really good because you can have an established board and then special summon the Christia. I'm always going to be ramming in the Shiny Angels to have 4 fairies in the graveyard and then be able to special summon Christia. So yeah, that's kind of the line here. And then here I also play the Dark Engine. Oops, that's my third. I do play the Dark Engine. Oh, I do play the Raikou to square off so that I can summon the Rescue Cat, and then special summon Arabellum and Raikou to go into level 5 Synchros. If you make a Catastrophe with this, you have both a Dark and a Light in your graveyard, if Catastrophe goes to the graveyard. So this way you can special summon your Chaos Sorcerer really easily. And that's kind of the idea, is to special summon Chaos Sorcerer as a sort of like a power play, and then summon the Herald of Orange Light to be able to synchro into level 8. Dark End is one of the best synchros in this deck. And then I play the Gores. I also play a Caius too. I'm not sure what happened to Caius. Oh, I do play the Caius. So yeah, the Caius is really good as well, being a dark monster. But you're not reliant on the dark. Uh, you're not relying on Caius to have a dark in the graveyard. So that's why I think playing this over the Battle Fader engine is key to making the Chaos Fairies really good. So. Chaos Fairy Cats. I believe I play 23 monsters. I'm not entirely sure. For the spells, I play 2 Book of Moon. So I'm going to put this aside here. I play the 2 Book of Moon here because I want to up the spell count in this deck. So being able to play defense with the Book of Moon, but also being able to pitch it off the Summoner Monk is the idea of Book of Moon. You can also set Fossil Dyna so that you could at least special summon under Fossil Dyna. Um, Assuming they main deck it. You can also interrupt synchro plays too, but and also when you play against Black Whirlwind and they have the Whirlwind out, and you have the Book of Moon set, you can set the Blackwing and they won't be able to search with the Black Whirlwind. So then I also play the Brain Control and the Mind Control because I play the Airbellums in this deck. So Airbellum and also Herald of Orange Light allows me to, and Caius allows me to utilize my opponent's monsters to my advantage. Mind Control was really good in the event when I played against both the Pure Fairies and as well as the Chaos Fairy. Being able to take the Recruiter off the board and then summoning the Rescue Cat, and then using the effect of summon Rescue Cat to bring out two Airbellums, and then attacking directly takes out 2 cards out of their hand. So yeah, that's really good pluses by using Mind Control in that aspect. It's also these cards are also spell cards, so that you can pitch it off. I also play the Mystical Space Typhoon and the Heavy Storm. Not much to say because it's spell drop removal, so you'll need it. And to round off the spells, I play 3 Pot of Avarice. I think, personally, I think this is the best Pot of Avarice deck. Any deck that plays Rescue Cat and Summoner Monk is the best Pot of Avarice deck because you're not trying to randomly mill monsters to the graveyard using Raikou, whereas in Quick Draw, where it's rumored to be the best Pot of Avarice deck, I think this is the best Pot of Avarice deck in the format, and being able to load up your graveyard really easily because Tomato, if it gets destroyed by battle, puts 1 tomato into the graveyard. And then when you go into the Summoner Monk line, this is going to be your second one. You pitch a spell, whatever spell that you want, and then you can Synchro Summon the double Arabellum into Arcanite Magician. So let's say you synchro this. You'd already have 3 monsters in the graveyard by then. And then you attack directly, and then when Arcanite Magician ever goes to the graveyard, and the Airbellum goes to the graveyard, then you can just Pot of Avarice the five cards with the Arcanite Magician, if it ever goes to the graveyard. So I think that's gonna be the best turn one. It won't be the turn one because you're gonna have to activate Avarice the following turn. But if they destroy your tomato, 2 tomatoes, then you'll have 5 monsters in the graveyard, but you'll have to activate on your next turn. And then for the trap cards, I play Bottomless Trap Hole because I want to have a good matchup against Blackwings. Blackwings is one of the worst matchups in this deck because you want to be able to stop all the searching, and the Whirlwind is just way too good, so that's why I play the 2 Bottomless. And then I play the Dust Shoot. Dust Shoot, for some reason, ended up being more of a liability than it is than an asset. Sometimes you don't want to draw into Dust Shoot. Even going first sometimes is if you go first and you don't draw this, and you draw into it, and your opponent already established their board, then Dust Shoot just becomes really bad. So sometimes I just use this as an MST bait for the most part, and then that's pretty much all the utility it provides for me. So oftentimes I'll even I'll side this out against most decks, unless I'm getting against the Chaos Fairy matchup, the mirror match, I actually kept this in going second and first because Chaos Fairies like to keep a big hand. So yeah, that's just for that reason. I play the Mirror Force because you want to be able to protect your cards sometimes so that you can flip it on your turn and do stuff. And I played the Call of Haunted. Call of Haunted is good because you can loop up Rescue Cat. I actually did in the tournament where I summoned the Rescue Cat. I used its effect, and the Pure Fairy player used Herald of Orange Light to destroy it. And then I just flipped Call of Haunted and then brought it back, and then did my synchro plays with that. So yeah, that rounds out my main deck. It's about yeah, it's exactly 40. So you never want more nor less because you're trying to be consistent as possible. And seeing your power cards is better than not. And then for my side deck, I decided to play two Pulling the Rugs. Pulling the Rug is really good because you can stop most cards. You guys already know how good it is. There's not many utilities that are specific to this deck that you would use Pulling the Rug for. Protecting your recruiter is kind of the idea from Caius or Ryza. I play the two Dust Tornadoes and the Royal Decree. I actually side Royal Decree with the Dust Tornado in this tournament because I want to be able to hate on Hero Beat and Blackwings. And so they're a back row heavy deck, so you need answers to stop the back row, and Decree and Dust Tornado is how you do it. Even if you draw the Dust Tornado with the Royal Decree, sometimes I'll just set the Dust Tornado by itself and then end phase I'll destroy back row and then set the decree. That's kind of the idea. You don't want to get deck devastation virus, so I side heavily against the Blackwing matchup and the Vayu Turbo matchup, so they don't deck devastation virus me. That's the reason why I also play Crow as well. If I'm playing against the hybrid version of Blackwing, or if I'm playing against the Vayu Turbo matchups, I don't want them to first turn Vayu Turbo, or I don't want the first turn Armwing to come out. So having the DD Crow in your opening hand is the idea to stop the first turn deck devastation virus. And if I draw the Royal Decree or the Dust Tornado, I can just Dust Tornado the card. A card that's often forgotten for spell and trap removal is actually Nulliman of Extermination. It's a really good card because if you're playing against decks that set only one back row, you want to be able to clear the back row. I actually resolved this against my brother. We were playtesting before the pods were executed at the LA Regionals. I hit his deck devastation virus, and then when I resolved this effect and banished all copies of deck devastation virus from his deck, I knew that I was going to win the game because um, the recruiters are often really hard to get rid of with Blackwings. They often have to go into Catastrophe to be able to deal with the recruiters, and if they don't have that, then they have to rely on Deck Devastation Virus to pretty much have a good advantage in the game. So being able to hit this or Icarus attack, I resolved this against the hero player in my first round. I was able to banish all copies of Hero Blast, and so if you resolve this on a Hero Blast, you know that they're only going to have a maximum of 3 aliases. Played in the game unless they recycled Ocean. But if they don't play Ocean, then Nomen of Extermination is going to be, you only have to worry about 3 aliases, which means that if they draw into their Gemini Sparks and they don't have any more aliases, then that means that they have dead cards set. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind Nomen of Extermination. Yeah, that's why I think it's often forgotten, but it's also good because it's proactive. If you're going second, I often cite this in going second if I'm playing against any sort of back row deck. Being able to hit a specific card and stopping all of the copies of it from resolving for the whole game is kind of the key aspect of Annulment of Extermination. It's also a spell that I can pitch off of a Summoner Monk so that I can pretty much pop off. But yeah, that's the spell, I believe. I played two Cyber Dragon. No reason why you shouldn't play Cyber Dragon in your side deck because it's really good body that you can play and run over stuff. But in this deck specifically, you can actually summon the Arabellum, or you can summon the Herald of Orange Light to make good synchro plays. If you summon the Arabellum, you're often going to make the Stardust, so your plays are protected for the next turn. But if you summon the Herald of Orange Light, you can actually make Black Rose, but also Ancient Sacred Wyvern to be able to do some more damage. I play the 2D presence here because against a lot of control decks that likes to sit on Vanity's Fiend and Falso Dyna, I'll have an out to it. But sometimes I'll side this in against recruiter decks. So against Pure Fairies, I actually resolved this against a lot of recruiters. But I also stopped the Kaiku for some reason, so people thought that Kaiku would stop me. But Kaiku is rarely kind of bad against this deck because it doesn't do anything except stop Chaos Sorcerer, and so that's pretty much the whole reason. I guess Kaiku is really good if you can actually do battle damage, and I would have less targets for Pot of Avarice, so that's the reason why they probably play it. And then I play the Consecrated Light. Consecrated Light, I only said one because I can loop the Avarice, or I can loop the Consecrated Light with Avarice. So in the event that they actually destroy the Consecrated Light, I can just put it back in my deck, and then hopefully I can draw into it or special summon it with a Shining Angel. But that's my side deck. Let's go into the extra deck. I play the Arcanite Magician. This is like the key card in this deck because it destroys the key aspect about this is that it can destroy face down cards, but also it makes your opponent have to deal with the Arcanite Magician. Otherwise, if they don't deal with it, they can't set a trap. and so that's why I play Arcanine Magician. And it's also a light monster, so being able to be a light monster that I can banish with Chaos Sorcerer, to special summon Chaos Sorcerer is kind of the other idea. Another reason is that being a light means I can use Honest to protect it on the following turn, so that they can't set any back rows. So that's why I played the Fairy line with the Arcanine Magician. Dark End Dragon for my level 8s. I played Dark End Dragon, Colossal, Thought Ruler, and Stardust, and that's it. I made Stardust against Black Wings when I played against my brother before we played the events. And and Stardust was really MVP in that matchup because it could stop deck devastation fires, but it also stops Icarus attack from resolving, so you don't have to worry about that card when you decide to pop off. Dark End's really good because I love Dark End being able to use this with Chaos Sorcerer, and Herald of Warren's Light means that you can take out two of your opponent's monsters before the battle phase. And then a Colossal and Thought Ruler. Thought Ruler is actually really good if you can sense that they don't have a Mirror Force or Torrential. What I mean by sense is that you use logic to deduce that they don't have Mirror Force or Torrential. And then when you have a Thought Ruler against Hero Beat or Diva Hero, if they play Absolute Zero and they attack into the Thought Ruler will actually gain you the life points as Chain Link 2 because it is mandatory, and also Absolute Zero is mandatory. So you'll be able to at least gain 2,500 life points when they try to clear your Thought Ruler. And then if they're trying to go for game, then you have a lot of life points to deal with. So this will actually recover a lot of life points to stop the Absolute Zero from killing you. But oftentimes, if you're playing against Frog heroes, then they're going to have a 3,000 plus Absolute Zero, so that's not really good against that. But against Diva Hero beats or Diva heroes, they'll often only have a 2,500 attack Absolute Zero. I play the Mistworm because you can make this guy with Summoner Monk, Rescue Cat into Arabellum and Raikou. And so when you synchro all of the three materials, you'll have a dark and a light in the graveyard with Mistworm. So Mistworm will be able to bounce back everything. If they have a full synchro board, Mistworm can actually be devastating because they just go -3, assuming there's three synchro monsters. I played the 6. I played the Urquazes because I want to pierce for game against the battle faders that are in defense position. I can actually do 2,100 direct damage without them battle fadering again. I play the Goyo Guardian and the Brio. Not much to say. They're a really good level 6. Goyo being a big beat stick allows you to generate a +2 because you're taking away a card from your opponent and then you're gaining a card on your side. And then you have a Bryanak because you want to be able to clear the back row. I actually use this effect to bounce back a Call the Haunted. So if I revive Arabellum or Sangan and I normal summon the Arabellum and make a Bryanak, I can search with the Sangan and then pitch card, but bounce back the Call the Haunted, and then I can reset it, and then if they try to MST it or Heavy Storm it, you could just flip it and get the Sangan and get a search. So that's kind of the move that you can do. Yeah, that's the cool thing about Bryanak. And then the level 5s, I play the Dark and the Light. Depending on what situation you're in, if you have a Dark in the graveyard, you want to go for Android. If you have a Light in the graveyard, you want to go for Catastor, so you can set up your Chaos Sorcerer plays. And then the level 7s I play is H Sacred Wyvern. I never made it, but in theory you can make it with the Cyber Dragon and the Android. So if Android's alive, you can normal summon the Herald of Orange Light. And because Android actually gives you more life points, you should have an attack boost on the H Sacred Wyvern if you protect the Android with Honest. And then I play the Black Rose. Black Rose I actually use this effect because I have Tomato in this deck. So being able to banish the Tomato and then shift the monster to attack position, like a Battle Fader for example, can actually spell out lethal for you, and then you can actually do 2,400 direct damage if you put a monster into attack position. And then I play the Armory Arm. I actually made it by stealing someone's, I believe it was a not a Treeborn. It was a Battle Fader. I saw someone's Battle Fader in the tournament, and I summoned the Arabellum and then made a Armory Arm. And I attacked directly for 18, but they brain controlled it and then equipped it with their monster. So it's weak to brain control, but it's fine. But yeah, that's the extra. Oh yeah, and I also play Chimera Tech because I play the Cyber Dragon. So for my matchups, I think I already told you guys, but round one I played against Hero Beat. Hero Beat was pretty grindy. I believe I lost the first game because of the Hero Blast resolving. So because Hero Blast was able to resolve multiple times, I think I lost because of that. They were able to recycle their alias and be able to control the board. And then I lost to Absolute Zero because I can't stop Absolute Zero really well, so that's why I played Traps. In game 2 and 3 against the Hero Beat matchup, I sided in the Nomen of Extermination, and I've already told you guys that I hit the Hero Blast, and I was able to clutch out the game. Um, And then I also sided out, for those of you guys want to know, I actually sided out two Herald of Orange Light against that matchup because I'd rather have just one for the synchro plays. And I actually sided out Christia, so that's actually pretty controversial to side out Christia against the Hero Beat matchup. But the idea behind siding out the Christia is that because there's so many back rows that deck already has, and Christia doesn't actually just lock them out of the game, and they also have normal summons. I just don't think Christia is good against the hero matchup. And plus, requiring setup for the Christia is actually really bad because you're actually losing time. So I decided to side in the one D Crow because it's searchable, so I don't actually side it. And then I sided the Deep Prisons in. No, I sided in Cyber Dragon. So I sided in Cyber Dragon and the Dust Tornadoes, and I believe I sided it to Decree. And there was one more card that I sided out for this. Generally speaking, DD Warrior Lady is really good in the Hero Beat matchup, so that you can banish all copies of Alias, as I already mentioned. And I think I took out a Book of Moon. Yeah, so I don't like Book of Moon against Hero Beat because Hero Beat doesn't care about Book of Moon, and then they keep the monster anyways. So I actually set it out I think I only set it out one book because I wanted to have some spells. 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, so this was what I set it out for the Hero Beat. Um, if you guys want to know what I sided against the next matchup, the Pure Fairies. Pure Fairies, I sided out. I definitely kept the Christia, and I definitely kept this. I think I sided in this card, because I don't want them to resolve the Return from Different Dimension. So I sided in Decree, and I sided in Dust Tornado, and I also sided in DD Crow, and I also sided in D prisons. So yeah, I only sided one DD Crow. I only sided the one DD Crow because it's searchable by Sangan, but also because when they try to attack all their Shining Angels into the Nova Summoner, and they have the four fairy. Main phase two, I'll DD Crow one of their fairies, so that they only have four or they only have four fairies, so they won't be able to bust some of the Christia. And then I play the D prisons so that I can stop the recruiters. But generally speaking, this is how I side in. I think I took out Book of Moon against. I always side out Book of Moon for some reason, but it's kind of a bad card for some reason. But it's good for like other decks because you want to have spell cards against them. And then I also sided out maybe. Hmm. Oh yeah, I sided out Dust Shoot if I'm going second against that deck. Oh yeah, and I sided out Bottomless because all the Shiny Angels and Nova Summoners are under 1500 attack, and then so I'm sending out traps, right? I think I also cited out a Call to Haunted because I don't want to get oppression. Some pure fairies cite in oppression, and I actually saw the oppression because I MST'd it. So I actually cited out the Call to Haunted because I don't want to lose harder into oppression. But generally, you keep the DD War Lady to deal with it. So that's six cards. I cited in eight. I don't know what else I cited out. I think I took out a Mirror Force because I don't want them to have fairies in the graveyard, and I'd rather have D Presence instead of Mirror Force. And Caius is really good. I kept the Caius in. Oh, I think I sided out Gores because I was siding in Decree. Yeah, so sometimes if you side Decree, you want to side out Gores against the Fairy matchup. Let me see what else I sided. Um, sided out a. Oh yeah, I always side out one Pot of Avarice. So against a lot of matchups, I always side out one Avarice because I'm afraid of being DD Crowed. So if they DD Crow me and I try to resolve an Avarice, I try to just have room. I want better cards against them, so that's why I side out these cards. So that's what I side for the Pure Fairy matchup. Now let's talk about the Chaos Fairy matchup. Chaos Fairy matchup, I decided to side in the Pulling the Rug because they do play Caius. And then I cited in, of course, I cited in the D prisons because I want to banish all copies of the recruiters. But also, if they have a Christia, I want to be able to banish the Christia. I don't cite in any spell and trap removal, so that's really helpful because they don't really have back row because they're monster heavy. So I cited pretty limited for that matchup. And then I actually cited in 2 DD Crow against that matchup. So I think I only cited in these cards. So so very generic. I cited in 6 cards. I kept I kept in the Dust Shoot and the Bottomless, but I think I took out Call the Haunted because I don't want to have this against Christia. So I took this out and I took out Mirror Force, Book of Moon, and Gores and Pot of Avarice. So I think I started out those cards because everything else I kind of want to keep against that matchup. Yeah. So this is what I cited out for the Chaos Fairy matchup. Just so you guys know. I'd rather have Pulling the Rug over Book of Moon because Pulling the Rug can actually deal with Caius. But that's all the reason why you would play it. Um, I'd rather have Deep Presence over Mirror Force and Call the Haunted because Deep Presence can get rid of monsters. And then I have the two DD Crow to over the Gores and the Pot of Avarice because Crow is good against the Chaos Engine, but also they're going to try to ram in their Shining Angel, so you'd rather have the Crow instead of the Pot of Avarice and the Gores. But yeah, the Gores because I don't want them to establish a board in Special Summon Christia, and so that's why I side out the Gores for that matchup. Yeah, but that's my matchup for the Chaos Fairies. If you guys have any questions or comments about this deck, uh, leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and I'll get to it because this deck is still I think it's still developing. Right now, this build is good for what it is because it has a lot of outs to the current metagame. I think in actuality, I think I might actually have a bad Frog matchup. I'm not entirely sure, but Christia should have a good matchup against Frogs because you can fetch the Herald of Orange Light. But if you want to deal with like the Dew Frog lock, theoretically you have both Arcanine Magician and Black Rose Dragon to deal with that matchup. But yeah, in a different video, I'll actually set up a gameplay of all the matchups I decided to play with this deck on Dueling Book. So if you guys want to watch that, I'll also have a mixture of the locals games. I actually took this to a locals and I didn't do so well because I was playing a more different build of this. But it's generally the same concept with the Rescue Cat and Summoner Monk. But yeah, I'll have the gameplay video if you guys want to watch that. But yeah, this is my deck profile for the Chaos Cat Fairy. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And then maybe in the future I'll have another iteration of Chaos Fairies for all you guys who enjoy Chaos Fairies as a deck. All right, peace out guys, and thanks for watching.